Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to another beautiful session with Lorenzo. This is Lorenzo on Lorenzo's Motivation. And this is a channel where we motivate and inspire people, ladies and gentlemen, and tackle issues that people go through on a day-to-day basis. Before I continue with my topic for today, I want to remind you that I come from a beautiful mountainous country called Lesotho. And in Lesotho, we have two official languages. We have Sesotho, which is our first language, our mother tongue, and then we have English being the second language, ladies and gentlemen. And as I'm going through my topic, allow me to borrow from both of these languages, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Without any further ado, I want to remind you that today's topic, we are talking about playing to win. Play to win. Play to win, playing to win, Bomele Bontate. That is what we all want to do in this life. A lot of people are playing, but a lot of people are not going to win, ladies and gentlemen, whether they know it or not. But they're just playing the game, and the game is usually just rigged against them. But why is it rigged? It's because they don't want to do the dirty work, the heavy lifting. And I believe you are here today because you want to do something different. You want to win, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking today to people who may have lost out in business, that businesses may have collapsed. They may have had financial problems or made wrong decisions, wrong turns in their businesses, and things may have gone wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And today also I'm talking to people who may have had bad grades at school, your performance declined, you may have even lost your scholarship, you may be going through a hard time right now. And besides those people as well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to people who have lost relationships. You may have lost out on a promising relationship, ladies and gentlemen, that you have invested a lot of time in. And besides that, again, I'm talking to people who may have lost any type of opportunity, a good opportunity or an opportunity of a lifetime. You may have lost out on this one. I'm really, really sorry. You know, the sad thing about losing anything is it leaves such a bad feeling for all of us, ladies and gentlemen. It's horrific. It's horrible. You don't want to be playing to lose in this life. You want to win. But if you want to win and you want to go to the next level in your life, you always need to come back to the place where you ask yourself, oh, now, how did I lose? How did I lose? How did I lose out on a beautiful relationship? How did I lose out on a beautiful business? What did I do wrong? You know what I mean? So allow me, I'll be going through my talking points right here in front of me so that I don't spend too long on one point, ladies and gentlemen, because I do respect your time. So people who want and need to see a change will always ask themselves this question, ladies and gentlemen: how? How did I lose? They want to know. You don't just want to lose and walk away with loss, and maybe you may even experience it again at another point in your life or we don't want that. That is why we have to, first of all, the first point is that you need to revisit the scenario. Sena se o lahletseng le ha o etsaetseng ka go le yona o ne o e bapetseng ke efeng mohlomong na o ne o e bapetse ka tsela e nepahetseng kapa o ne o sa e bapala hantle. This is what you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to win. You need to be brave enough to go back, to go shift and look around. Or now, okay, fine, let me find out. Or now, say as I think is a and as you revisit the scenario, as you revisit the past, and as you revisit the pain, ladies and gentlemen, the answers you are looking for will usually come up. Or now, actually, what happened? O tla fumana go qetellong ya maketello dikarabo di tla tla tsa o tse tsa tla o di tlhokomedisa ona go etsetseng ko feng o lahletswe tjena na ile ha o etsahala. Maybe you made a decision too soon, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe you invested too soon. You invested your business, you invested your money, you invested your time into something that you never did due diligence on. You never checked all the checkbox, ladies and gentlemen. You decided to take out money and invest it into this thing because it sounded exciting and promising at that time. Maybe that is what went wrong. Maybe you are too free with the finances of business. Ba khala fela o tlo fumana gore ha nka diqeto mono motho eno a tšhelete ya business ya ya khala fela. Obviously you will get in trouble for that. There were too many moving points in your business. There were way too many moving parts in your business where you had no control over. Actually, what happened? Why did we go through the loss that we went through? As far as for those people, they may have performed bad in school. this year or the previous year, but ladies and gentlemen, you underestimated the cost you were doing. You just thought, this seems like a walk in the park. Everything seems easy and straightforward and simple enough. Maybe I can just walk all over it. Maybe you never had enough time to study. You never made enough time to study. Maybe you were preoccupied with your other things, personal, you know. Maybe you know. But whatever answers you're looking for, you will definitely find them. It may not be stuff that you want to hear. It may not be stuff you're willing to change or you're willing to adjust in your life. That is up to you. But if you want to play, to win, and to get to the next level in your life, you will make the adjustment, ladies and gentlemen. And for those people, relationships usually go wrong. You see the red flags in the beginning and you ignore them. You see flag number 2, you ignore it. You see flag number 4, you ignore it. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to make decisions in your life. You need to make decisions. You don't need to be so fast to say yes to everything. You don't need to be talked into everything. It comes in a beautiful package. I love you, you know, because you'll be told you are loved, and the next thing you know, you're left with yourself to pick up the pieces, ladies and gentlemen. So I keep saying, if you are looking for the answers, if you are willing, they're just sitting there waiting for you so that you could do something with them. If you want to get to the next level, question is, are you willing to own up? Are you willing to make the adjustments? Are you willing to make the change in your life in order for you to see a different level of success for Melebontat? Most people are not. That is why we said in the beginning that it's the game of life. We are all going to play it, but not everybody will see the changes in their lives because most people are comfortable where they are. Moving on to my next point, ladies and gentlemen, and this one, we are talking about emotions, ladies and gentlemen. And before I get on with it, I want to give you a quote here by Elizabeth Gilbert that says, your emotions are the slaves to your thoughts, and you are the slave to your emotions, ladies and gentlemen. You are a slave to emotions. You highlight the point there, you know. Most people make decisions, and whenever you make a decision, it's an emotional decision. You were angry, it was in haste, you were vengeful, you had all these things going on, ladies. You were excited, you were retaliating. How? Whenever the decisions they are all linked to emotions. Why don't you now go? As I, you know, can I let this thing lately that happens with me when I get really angry with a person, ladies and gentlemen? I don't deal with the issue or I don't respond. What happens is I refrain, I step back a bit, cool down, get my perspective, get things clear, get all the facts on the table before I can go back and answer a person who has really offended me. We need to practice refrainment. We need to refrain. Because we are here where we are simply because we're making emotional decisions. You are excited, you're buying. You are angry, you're biting back. You are arguing, you have a feeling that you need to argue. Why do you feel you need to win all the arguments? You cannot win all the arguments, you know. Sometimes you win the battle and you lose the war. What's more important to you for Melebontat? Again, our greatest battles So if you want to win, ladies and gentlemen, you need to have your emotions in check. At all times, you need to have your emotions in check, because your emotions will let you down. They will lead you to a very dark place for Melebontat. So an exercise that I have for you, it's based on this one that we just talked about, is you need to avoid making decisions in an emotional state for Melebontat. 3 months, 3 months in, I want to try. If 3 months is too long for you, try to do that for 1 month. Life I change. I'm not gonna make an emotional decision. I'm angry right now. I'm going to step back, take my time, focus on something else, and dissect this thing at my own time. Look at it alone and find out, well, now what is the best way to act? What's my best move? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not gonna make this decision right now because I'm angry, I'm still vengeful. So I'm not gonna say anything right now. I'm angry, I may say things may get out of control, which was a fella. It's not cowardice, it is wisdom, which was a fella. I'm gonna try to step back, analyze everything, and I'll get. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back. You don't want to be making bad decisions. And a third point, you've been through the fire, ladies and gentlemen. You've been through the wire. You've been hurt. You've lost what you've lost, and you've been emotional about it. You have cried. You have paid the price, and paying is never a beautiful thing, ladies and gentlemen. So now, what do? You've revisited the scenario. But now what do? What's your next move? How immediately are you please find the courage to get back on the horse, ladies and gentlemen. Find the courage to get back in the game. And again, I'm not just talking about getting back in the game. I'm talking about getting back in the game with the confidence. So rather you will do better because you have made your mistakes, you have learned from them, you've paid the price, and now you've learned something. You need to apply it. You need to apply what you've learned. You need to apply the wisdom. You need to delay your honor. And please do so. The courage. Be bold. Everybody makes mistakes. You are not the first person to make a mistake. You're not the first person to get burnt. So understand that. That is why I believe if you get back and you're bold and you keep moving, you will not end up at the same place where you started. So there is a saying that says experience is the best teacher. Experience experience. Nobody teaches that, but you have to go through experience in order for you to know and see the truth and see the world for what it is and know how to maneuver and move around, you know what I mean? Because if you don't, we need to go through the wire, ladies and gentlemen, to develop. And one of the other points that I need to highlight and emphasize to you is that you need to put in the work while you are expecting results. Dedicate your time, dedicate your attention to this thing you are trying to achieve in your life, but expect results. Expect results. If you are working on that business, put in the work. Work all the way. Make sure that you're doing everything necessary in order to be successful, to win. Put in the work and expect results. Now, even if you tell yourself, okay, I will reevaluate my position every month, do that. Just moving because people move. You don't have an expectation where you will ever win. No. You have to have an expectation I will win. Let results. If you are working on that relationship, work on it. Do what you gotta do. Buy the roses. Apologize. Love the person. Show the person love. Respect the person. Be a good listener. Change things. Change a couple of things in your life. Invest a bit of time in it. Impact results. Please don't be ashamed. Rewards people that are expecting results, that are expecting the reward. But to be honest, they're not even, when you are expecting results and you are expecting the reward in your life, you walk differently. People who are not expecting anything, and they're not expecting anything, they're so relaxed, ever so not caring about anything. But that should not be you. That should not be your life. Work like someone who's expecting. And if you are working on that body, please work on it. 5 a.m., get up and go work. How to be willing, ready and willing to sacrifice for the results. And the standards it be sort of like a level of commitment you are willing to go and you're willing to take. If you set the standards this high, be willing to work this much. If you set them that high, be willing to work that much. What's going on at standard the next thing when you come back and you say, they don't work, they don't apply. Ladies and gentlemen, and once you've set the standards, work very hard to not compromise. And of course, jeopardize. And we don't want that, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to play to win. It's not easy. It's not easy. We have to be able, we try at our level best. And here we are at the end of the day, we're sitting at the table. These are the results we're looking for. We're looking at that right here. So the fourth point, ladies and gentlemen, which is my last one, is get an advantage. Winners always seek an advantage. When they play for the sake of playing, but if you want to win, you will always look for an advantage. You'll always look for a weak point against it. You'll always look for an opportunity. You will always look for a loophole. An advantage on what you're doing. The biggest advantage that successful people have over people that are not successful is successful people have information, ladies and gentlemen. They get the information first. Get the information. And second to that, do not quit on learning, ladies and gentlemen. Keep improving yourself. Keep improving yourself, even if you have to go to school, if you have to do a short course, if you have to keep learning. And again, I want to break learning is not only based only to school of life at large. Learning and self-improvement, it covers all the aspects of your life, ladies and gentlemen. And I am not going to end up right here where I am. When I'm thing is a starting point, I'll keep moving and I do not want to look back. And you will dig deep. You are willing to go deep. You are willing to get your hands dirty. Success, they have like as an example, they don't want to touch anything. Success is for people that are willing. To go to lengths to make sure they do achieve it. For the people who are playing to win, whether you get athlete, when you just see the goals they score, you don't see them training 18 hours every single day. You don't see them sacrificing when the foods they love simply because now they have to eat these weird diets in order for them to perform in an enhanced way. You don't see that. You don't see the story. You only see the post. On Instagram, or no, they just won. You don't see the work that goes into it. So in your life, please be in the habit of going to work behind the scenes. Before tax clearance, you know what I mean? You will perform better in your life. So I have an exercise for you this wonderful evening, is that identify the key areas that you would like to improve in your life, ladies and gentlemen. Identify the things, for example, I would like to improve this. And once you've identified them, give yourself 3 months to work really hard on those things. I don't know, whichever one is comfortable for you and doable for you. How do you you have to report back to yourself every month end. Okay, fine. I had this and this a task. How am I performing on not making emotional decisions? How am I performing on applying wisdom? How am I performing on this and that? I'm telling you that you will see your life change. Because at the end of the day, we are all playing, but we need, ladies and gentlemen, to play to win. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful session. Again on the next one. Fully appreciate your attention. Thank you.